students. We are going to discuss the old versus the new tax system in this discussion. Ever since this year's budget came out, the old versus new tax system that was very much in news. Unfortunately, the way our newspapers and news media covers this news is mostly regarding the personal tax savings, is regarding how much tax burden is there on middle class, what you should choose, but hardly anyone covered it from national perspective. Here we are going to cover it with the national perspective, that why we have introduced this system, what are the benefits, what are the drawbacks in case there are any, and what kind of changes have we proposed and what we want to achieve with those changes. Every reform is brought with a certain perspective. This reform was brought in 2020, and this reform was brought as an exemption-less tax regime. Some of you who file the taxes, they know that there are various tax exemptions like ATC, okay, which is the most popular tax exemption. And then there are several other tax exemptions like medical insurance, home loans, etc. So the point is, government gives several exemptions to the taxpayers, that if you spend money there, then you can pay less tax. That much expenditure will not count towards your income. Okay? In order to encourage savings, government gave tax exemptions on number of savings as well. So this has been going on for a very long time. Now, when we create too many exemptions, it creates a certain problem, because for each exemption we have to create a separate act. We have to create a separate entry, and we have to enter a separate article in the act, and that makes the law very complex, the computation very complex, and this also increases the loopholes in the tax system. And that is why we have been looking forward to shift to an exemption-less tax system, a tax system where exemptions are not there. The rule is simply, if you earn this much, you pay this much tax. If you earn that much, you pay that much tax. Let us say the tax is flat 10%. If you earn 10 lakh rupees, you pay 10% of it. The tax from 10 to 20 lakh is flat 20%. So for first 10 lakh of your income, you pay 1 lakh rupees of tax as 10% tax. Then for the next 10 lakh rupees of your income, you will pay 20% of the tax, 2 lakh rupees. So overall tax burden on a person earning 20 lakh would be 3 lakh rupees. So that is very easy to calculate. That doesn't leave any loophole. That kind of tax system we have been thinking about for a very long time. Even the new tax system, sorry, even the new tax system that we have introduced in 2020 is not yet completely the same, but it gets close to it. So with that objective, we launched this new tax system in 2020. And when we launched this tax system, unlike other changes, here we created a choice that people who want to choose the new system, only they will opt for the new system. Rest of the people will continue or can continue with the old system. This choice was very important, because government had observed earlier that GST was not, even though there are a lot of benefits, but it was not very much loved by people. See, people are generally against the change, even if that change is going to be beneficial for them, because as human beings, it's our psychology that we get used to something. And even if something new, which is simpler, is going to be introduced, people will resist it. So rather than giving people an opportunity to resist and let political opposition score some points on that, government said, okay, let people have both the options. We will not force this new system on them. We will rather give them both the choices. That way, government introduced a new system and it also prevented any controversy emerging into this. However, the problem was that not too many people yet shifted to the new system until this budget. So, in this budget, we have introduced a large number of incentives for people to shift to the new system. So, this is the summary of the entire change. Now, let us go in detail. So, as I've said, the objective of the new tax reform is to gradually move to a system where deductions, exemptions are not there, and where people can simply pay tax in proportion to their income. Now, this is one perspective to simplify the tax system. Then there is another perspective also, that the old system was benefiting certain people and not all the people. Now, for example, somebody earns 10 lakh. By today's standards, somebody living in urban area, if that person earns 10 lakh rupees per year, the savings are likely to be very less, because if you live in a city, almost 15 to 20,000 is the minimum rent you would be paying for a decent apartment. Okay, apartment rent very well go up to 30-35,000 also. I'm talking about the middle class apartments. I'm not talking about the let us say luxury apartment or spacious apartment. I'm not even talking about them. The entry to the middle class apartment, that starts somewhere around that, and a person earning 10 lakh rupees per year would like to live in a middle class apartment, not in the cheaper DDA colonies. DDA colonies can also be good, so it's not meant as offensive to those who live in DDA colony. I've also myself lived for a very long time in DDA colony on rent when I was in my first job. So it's not from that perspective, but I'm just simply saying that anybody earning 10 lakh rupees would like to have a decent accommodation as well. So a significant amount of their income goes into rent. Then a significant amount goes into kitchen bills, okay, utility bills, electricity, then commutation to and from office. So basically, fixed expenditures like these are significant. Now, if your income increases beyond 10, you will have more savings, but up to a certain income, you have less savings. The point is, only when you have savings, then only you can take advantage of ATC, you can take advantage of insurance. ATC is basically the money you would put in life insurance, LIC, okay, and many other provisions. For example, your home loan principal, the tuition fee of your children. So likewise, ATC has so many different components. That's why I'm using the law there rather than talking about this whole list. So ATC provisions can be utilized only by a certain section of people, not by all the people. So there were tax exemptions, but they were benefiting a certain section of people, those who were relatively better off. People who were in the early stages, or let us say in the beginning slabs of the income tax, they unfortunately could not save much, and they were paying in many cases more tax than people who were earning higher than them, because those people had savings, and from those savings they could actually save much more and take exemptions. So that's the point. Now, I was using an example of 10 lakh in my notes. I've given example of 7 lakh. Okay, 7 lakh is rather better example. At 7 lakh, it's very difficult to save now in cities. So you're not likely to have much exemption. Okay, if you're earning 7 lakh, then it is highly unlikely that you can utilize, okay, then it is very difficult that you will utilize your entire 1.5 lakh rupees exemption, because to save 1.5 lakh rupees and to put that into long term savings, Okay, you have to commit this much money into long term savings, means you won't be able to access that savings for a very long time. That is very difficult. You can save some money at 7 lakh, but you would like to keep that in bank account as extra. Okay, but on those you do not get tax exemption. So unless you commit your money for long term savings instrument, you do not get tax exemption. So to commit a big amount of your salary at low salary level, it's very difficult. So the point is, a person earning 15 lakh rupees can easily save 1.5 lakh rupees under ETC and can also take home loans and take advantage of extra provision for home loan interest, and they take all other extra advantages of medical insurances because they take all those instruments. So the point is, relatively the upper middle class was taking advantage of these kind of savings rather than the lower middle class or the middle class. And that is why also the old system was benefiting only a certain set of people. Okay, so first problem with the old system, that it is complex. Second, it is benefiting a certain set of people. And third problem with the old system is that it would benefit a certain type of savings. So people would save in those instruments. For example, since the mutual funds, they do not give you the tax savings, a lot of people put their money into the banks rather than in the rather than putting that money into stock markets through mutual funds, etc. Whereas that can also be equally lucrative, and similarly that can be put into many other instruments. I'm not saying that government should promote the mutual funds, but still this must be the point. So people, when they're choosing their saving instruments, where I should save my money, they should be neutral. Okay, all of the savings instruments should give them similar kind of tax benefit or no tax benefit. Under the new tax system, none of the savings give them benefit. Rather, the tax rate itself is low. That is why under new tax system, people are free to choose between mutual funds, the life insurances, and every other kind of system. In fact, those who track the market, they can observe that all the life insurance stocks are down ever since budget has been passed, because the tax savings were a big reason the life insurance companies were thriving in India. Anyways, let's move ahead. So there are three broader reasons why the old tax system had problems. Okay. Now, there is a criticism against the new tax system that since it does not give exemptions against the savings, it will discourage the savings. But I've already answered that. It will create a level playing field between the savings rather than discouraging the savings. To some extent, it is possible that some people were saving purely for tax savings. Okay, purely to save their tax, they were putting their money into life insurances, etc. Now, these people will not save anywhere if they will shift to the new system. So, possibly to a very small extent, that is there. Okay, but largely what the new system is going to create is a level playing field between the old system and the new system. So that is something we need to remember. So this criticism is not properly valid. So counter argument against the point that it discourages savings is that it incentivizes savings as a whole, okay, rather than incentivizing a certain type of saving. So this is a particular advantage of the new tax system. Now, we have understood the entire concept, the new versus the old. Now let us talk about the 2023 budget. What did the budget change? Budget 2023 change a lot. So in 2023 budget, several changes have been announced. I had to take a break in between, unfortunately, because The society's security guard today was particularly alert around this house and was whistling for a very long time continuously. It might be there in the audio as well. I hope the mic can filter it out, but it could be there in the audio as well. Okay, please do not mind that sound in case I cannot filter it out. I've asked him not to do it around this house at least for next 1 hour, but yes, let's get back to the topic. So the changes particularly were regarding increasing the rebate limit from 5 to 7 lakh, reducing the number of tax slabs, introducing a standard deduction, and reducing the highest tax rate from around 42% to 39.5%. Let me explain these one by one. So, earlier, the tax limits were different. Now, those who are earning up to 7 lakh, they do not have to pay tax under the new system. Although people earning above 7 lakh have to pay tax on their income above 5 lakh, but between 5 to 7 lakh, if somebody is earning, the payable tax will be rebated. Means they do not have to pay tax. The number of tax slab has been reduced. We will see the tax slabs very soon. There is a standard deduction that has been introduced. In case of salaried employee, 50,000 over and above the standard salary will be a standard deduction. 50,000 will be reduced from your annual salary and then only taxable salary will be considered. This was a system in old tax system. This was a provision in the old tax system, but it was not introduced into the new tax system because we wanted it to be flat without any exemption. But now, to create a level playing field between the old and the new system, we have introduced this. And we have also reduced the surcharges, and now the effective highest tax rate has been reduced from 42% to almost 39.5%. Let us see these changes in detail. Now, next financial year, there will be change for the basic exemption. Okay. So, let us look at the difference between the old and the new tax system. Yes. So the old system was that under 2.5 lakh rupees, no tax was payable. From 2.5 to 5 lakh rupees, 5% tax was payable. And likewise, under the new tax system to 2.5 lakh rupees, there was no tax. From 2.5 to 5 lakh rupees, there is 5% tax. From 5 lakh to 7.5 lakh, there is 10% tax. You can see the comparison here. In the old system, the tax between 5 to 10 lakh was 20%. But under the new system, the tax rates were low. For the first 2.5 lakh, it was 10%, and for the next 2.5 lakh, it was 15%. So basically, the tax rate under the new system were lower between 5 to 10 lakh. Above 10 lakh, the tax in the old system was 30%, whereas in the new system, from 10 to 12.5 lakh, there was 20% tax. So people who would be earning somewhere close to 12.5 lakh rupees, to them, there could be some level playing field. Okay. And above that, there was 25%, and above 15 lakh, both the systems had 30% of the tax. Now what we have changed? Now the new tax system will have this provision. Up to 3 lakh, no tax. 3 lakh to 6 lakh, 5% tax. 6 lakh to 9 lakh, 10% tax. And 9 lakh to 12 lakh, 15% tax. Okay. And 12 lakh to 15 lakh, there is 20% tax. We have reduced a slab of 25%. Earlier, there was a slab of 25%. That has been eliminated. Earlier, there were how many slabs? Let us see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. You can also say it's 6 plus 1 because nil itself is also a slab in a way. But if you remove the nil, there were 6 tax slabs. Okay. And how many are there in the new? There are 5. We have removed this 25% tax. 5, 10, 15 is there, then 20 and 30. 25% in between has been removed. So one tax slab is reduced as we have mentioned earlier. And now there are higher limits for the low tax rates. Okay, for those who are earning above 15 lakh rupees, for them tax is still 30%, but this is on the income above 15 lakh. But to calculate the tax for someone earning 15 lakh would still be much, much different. Okay. Now, let us see that also. Let us say somebody who has 7.5 lakh salary. Earlier in the old system, if a person is capable to claim the deductions, then there was no tax on income up to 7.5 lakh rupees. Okay, there was no tax. But into the new tax system, there was a tax of 39,000. So when we introduced the new tax system, a lot of people who were taking the advantage of tax savings, they would have to pay higher tax. Hence, maximum people did not shift to the new tax system. This transfer did not happen. We want more people to transfer to the new tax system. Now we have introduced this new tax system in 2023. Basically, it's the changed version of this new tax system in which also there is no tax for 7.5 lakh rupees income. Remember, we mentioned up to 7 lakh rupees, there is no tax into the new system. And 50,000 rupees is also the standard deduction, which is a new system. Okay, which is going to be a completely new addition into the new tax system. So 50,000 rupee get reduced here as a standard deduction, and then 25,000 rupees rebate is also there. So that is going to be the advantage. Under the new tax system also, now tax burden has gone down and it is at par with the old tax system here also. Hence, more people are now expected to shift from the old to the new system. Okay, a shift which did not happen after 2020. I myself am a taxpayer. Now I will consider shifting to the new tax system from next year. I did not had incentive in this, but here perhaps I am at equal footing. I have not calculated it, but I would be at equal footing here. So that is the point. A lot of people will think like that only. Okay. So here we have written this calculation itself, and this document will be available for download into the comments as well as description. So please download from there and you can go through the document. You should go through the document to take full advantage of this session. Now, we have understood the whole story. The story was that we had a tax system, income tax system, which was very complex because at some point we added lot of provision to promote the savings. We added provisions to promote the security by giving incentive for insurances. We wanted people to cover their risk. So government gave lot of incentives to people to cover up their risk, to buy houses, etc. Over time, these made tax system very complex. Now we wanted to introduce a less complex tax system. So a new tax system was created where the exemptions are very limited or negligible. But still, most people did not shift to this new tax system because in this new tax system, the tax burden was more for those people who were able to take advantages in the old system. It was not attractive enough for people to shift here. Let us say it in that way. So government waited for next 2-3 years, observed how many people are shifting, and finally when government realized not many people are shifting, now government has created lot of incentives in the new tax system, and now this new tax system is at par with the old tax system in terms of tax burden. And we have shown it with calculation also, and you can identify it as well. So now new tax system is quite attractive, and it is expected more and more people will come here. Okay. So in fact, people who will earn more than 12 lakh rupees income, they will have lesser tax burden into the new system. Okay. So that incentive is also there. Now the next question is, we have said that we wanted an exemption free system. Is our new system that we have introduced, is it exemption free? The answer is no. The new system provides certain exemptions. First of all, this year itself we have introduced the standard deduction. Okay, standard deduction of 50,000 only for salaried employees. Okay. Then the retirement benefits, gratuity, etc., that will also be tax free in the new system. The pension commutation, leave encashment on retirement. Okay. Basically, all the retirement benefits, whether it is VRS, retrenchment, leave encashment, retirement, gratuity, etc. Then the EPFO, employer contribution, basically your provident fund. NPS, withdrawal benefits, okay, National Pension Scheme withdrawal, educational scholarships, and payment of award instituted in public interest. So the new tax system provides exemptions under these. And if you notice, most of these are related to the old age security, whether it is provident fund, whether it is NPS, and all other are retirement schemes, and rest is just education and public interest policies. So it doesn't provide much exemption, and only which are necessary are provided. Okay. So new tax system definitely is much less cumbersome. Okay. Now, what kind of incentives are provided in the old tax system? So there is a very long list, as you can see, and this is also not complete list. Okay, this is a very short and the most important points list. All of these are exemptions under the old system. What all are these? 80C, which I've mentioned many times. Okay, so life insurance premium, provident fund, PPF, okay, home loan principal, as I mentioned earlier, up to 1.5 lakh rupees. This is the bulk of the incentive. Then section 80 CCD, and this is regarding the NPS, 50,000 rupees against that. Then 80D, medical insurance, okay, up to 25,000 rupees is tax free. For senior citizen, this is 50,000 rupees. LTA, house rent allowance, okay, deduction of 80TTA, 80TB will also be available. And likewise, it's a long list that you should read from the document. All these exemptions are available in the old system. But now the incentives in new tax system are such that tax rates are very low. Hence, even though you do not get so many exemptions, you still end up paying although almost the equal tax or perhaps even a lesser tax. So from our perspective, the perspective should be the government, why this system was introduced. What are the incentives? What are the benefit to Indian economy? The simplification of tax system is one of the most important objective of the tax reforms. And this tax reform is aimed at simplification of tax, which increases the tax base as well. So we are trying to improve upon that, and simultaneously we are also trying to remove loophole from our tax system which are used by people to pay less taxes. So new system is likely to be very useful in the long run and very simple to calculate and compute. So that is all that we had to discuss on this topic, and I hope this video has improved your understanding. Thank you.